And this is I Might Be Wrong. I might be wrong. Louis Armstrong. Well, there's three main Armstrong people. Well, like with the three main people with the last name Armstrong. There's Neil, Louis, and Lance. Neil went to the moon first. Lance rides bikes, and he just recently got caught cheating by using steroids. And then Louis was a musician, and yeah, that's what I know about the Armstrong people. But I might be wrong.
It's the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone. This is going to be a very special moment on the show. My two whitest friends will be in the studio together. Super Agent Tony Burton is here, and making his way in the studio is Dominic Fariello, our attorney. And the phone lines are wide open. If you got a question for Dom, ask Dom is making his way in here now. 727-579-1025 or 800-771-1025. What did I tell you? The wall of white has just gotten thicker. Dom is here. Tony is here. And your phone calls for Dom happening right now. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Good morning.
Thank you for making it in on this off day. I'm sorry that we were all in a terrible germ state and we're unavailable on Tuesday.
Well, it worked out well because I just got back from vacation. So Tuesday was my first day back from our trip with Pumpkins and I for our anniversary.
Yeah. How'd that go? You guys had a lot of sex?
Oh, it's great. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, if baby number 3 doesn't come,
Oh, my God.
I mean, we took the love train from Vancouver to Seattle. That should have done it alone.
On the love train?
On the love train, Amtrak.
Did you guys do it on the train?
Yes, I said, hurry up because we're almost to the border, and then the
man.
agents come on, and we had, so I said, it was on the list.
You had to tell her to hurry up?
I like to take my time,
Yeah.
Mr. Tony.
Sure you do. He's a romantic.
That's right. Your Honor, I have this motion in 47 parts.
So you guys had what year anniversary?
11.
Oh, man.
11 years. So it was a good time. It's the only
Do any
time.
experimental stuff?
If we do, it would happen on this trip.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and usually the answer is yes, because the kids aren't with us.
What is the one thing that you want to do that she won't let you do?
The one thing that I want to do that she won't let me. Well, I don't
date other women.
No. I don't know. Maybe she wants to bring a girlfriend in. Probably.
Yeah. Which one of her girlfriends would be on the top of your list?
Oh man,
and that's what you want to know. You got to start working it. I mean, your wife's got a lot of good-looking friends.
That's the problem. She has a lot of good-looking.
So
friends.
you'd be happy with any of them?
Yeah. So I think that would, to answer your question, that would be the answer.
Okay.
A little side.
So if any of Alicia's friends are listening, know that Dom is down. All you guys need to do is convince Alicia.
Well, who is Alicia?
I'm sorry, Pumpkins.
Oh, okay.
Pumpkins.
You threw me off for a second.
Any of Pumpkins' friends want to bring some other girls into the patch, now's the time to do it.
Well, I would imagine Dom always wants her to dress up as a judge.
Yeah, or an inmate.
Gavel him.
He's trying to get her off.
But I don't
Get it?
I don't have any money to pay.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry. You want your freedom?
It's
a hung jury.
Yana.
Tony, this is what goes on in Florida.
It feels way too real. It feels too real. I feel like I'm in your bedroom right now.
This is a normal conversation for us. This is nothing out of the ordinary.
I can't wait to ask Pumpkins what she wants. I'll try and facilitate it.
You will see her at the wonderful event this weekend at the brunch.
Good.
She actually is going to be there early. Dom and I are going to be there at the tail end because he and I are coming from a baseball game.
Gotcha.
But you'll get a chance to see your godson probably.
She would probably answer 2 hours alone. Peace and quiet.
If only she had a cell phone you could call.
We have a pager.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's get right to the calls. Greg, you're on with Ask Dom. What do you got, Greg?
Hey, real quick, I appreciate you taking the call, Mike. Dom, my wife got into a wreck yesterday. Somebody pulled out in front of her. The other driver was cited. It's an older model vehicle. It's probably worth about $3,000. She was wearing her seatbelt. It was, a low rate of speed. Hadn't had an accident in the past 10, 15 years. didn't know if I needed to call somebody. We both have the same insurance companies, the other driver and my wife.
Is she injured?
No, I don't believe so.
Let me ask you this. Did she hurt herself?
No, sir.
Did she injure herself in any way in the accident?
How do you know that?
I'm only messing up. I asked the question 3 times on my show. Oh, yes, she's got a little neck twing.
Possibly. Yeah.
No, I'm only messing. I'm happy that she's not hurt. So this is simply a property damage.
That was kind of the main thing. Yes, sir.
Correct.
That's the way I'm thinking.
So right now, you don't necessarily need a lawyer. You can communicate with the at-fault, the other party's insurance company. They'll send out an adjuster to come out and appraise the damage of the vehicle, and they'll make an assessment of its repair cost or replacement costs. And a lot of people say, well, what's the difference? Well, if it costs about 75% of the inherent value of the car, then that is usually the threshold in the state of Florida where they'll total the vehicle out. If it's less than 75%, then they'll just repair the vehicle to your satisfaction. So you don't need a lawyer unless you're dissatisfied with one of the other assessments, whether it's a total loss or whether it's a repairable cost. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, and I appreciate the insight. One other question I had real quick. If they want to total the vehicle, if the insurance company says, all right, well, it's totaled, do I just take their assessed value? No. You can provide them your own assessed value. When I tell people, you can go out into the community, you can find 3 vehicles, same age, model, wear and tear use, so to speak, and then you take the average of those 3, and that would give you a baseline of what the value of the car would be in the community. That's how it would be argued in front of the county. That's an option? Oh, absolutely, it's an option. And then you can argue and you can negotiate with the insurance company on the other side. And if that breaks down, then you have a recourse with legal action if you want to retain services of the firm.
All right, buddy.
Wonderful. I appreciate the insight. Thanks.
Good luck to your wife. AskTheDom.com if you need them. Let's go to Mimi. Hello, Mimi.
Good morning.
You're on with Ask the Dom. What can we do for you?
I guess my question is this. In my younger brother that has been in the hospital 60-plus days now, and I had trouble getting him to that hospital because I took him to a hospital after surgery, and they couldn't treat him. Then I had the hospital that did originally treat him wouldn't accept him. So then I had to take him to another hospital. And now imagine this, he's been in pain, like severe pain, just not a little bit of pain. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's called baclofen.
Okay.
The pump wasn't put in right, or something happened in that. I don't want to get into the whole story, so I don't wear you down. So long story short, when I took him to the next hospital, they tried very hard to get him into the hospital that did the original surgery. Unfortunately, that surgeon that did it was on vacation for an extended amount of time. Nobody responded. So I had to take him home, put him in a bed, per the hospital, and call an emergency room. Call an ambulance to take him to that original hospital. Now, 60 days later, he's still there. I guess I'm not looking. There's been a series of mishaps and a lot of bad things that happen. Right now, I'm really just trying to save his life, if that makes sense. Is there in the law field like a medical advocate that you can actually get also?
Well, the medical advocate in this situation would be to determine whether or not any one of these hospitals or these facilities or these doctors violated or breached the standard of care, in which that would lead to whether or not there's any medical negligence or medical malpractice. So Shafia Singha with the Singha Law Group, it's sponsored my show. By the way, Dave and Shafia Mike are going to be on the cruise this year.
Oh, nice.
That's their first cruise. They're wonderful folks. Shafia handles medical malpractice cases. If you want to contact the office, I can refer you over there, and then she can make an assessment for you. As far as whether or not there is an advocate, there are some hospitals that do work with families, but every hospital is different. So I think that would be a case-by-case or hospital-by-hospital basis. But I would start with Ms. Singha first, and I can certainly give you her information if you call the office or go to my website.
Yeah, I think that I need this. At this point, I know I need some kind of help, and
Sure.
I know I've seen like many things that are way wrong, but I won't bog you down with all those things because I'm still trying to get him the care that he needs.
All right, well, call the office today and tell him you spoke to Dom on the air and you need Shafia Singh's phone number and let them take care of you. You can call 813-251-5550, and if you forget that, just go to AskTheDom.com. It's all on there.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
good
you
luck to
very,
your
very much.
brother. I appreciate the phone call. Let's go to Chris. Chris, good morning. You're on with Ask the Dom. What do you got, Chris?
Morning, Mike Calta Show. Real quick question regarding an employment application I just filled out. Actually,
Okay.
a questionnaire. The job is with a 501c3 charity, and it's run by a Christian ministry. And on the questionnaire that they had for employment, there were a couple questions directly regarding Christianity. I think the final question was actually, what do you do when you feel yourself being pulled away from Christ? And I've never seen questions like this on an employment application. I was wondering if it was legal.
Very interesting. I would imagine because of the fact that it's a charity and the charity is being run by a nonprofit organization like a Christian organization, that they probably fall under some sort of different rules. Because if you want to play with them, you got to play by their rules.
You know, I like to know the answer to the question. What?
Well, Jesus Christ, you're the lawyer. That's why he's asking.
No. I want to know his answer to their question. What does he do if he feels he's pulled
how do you
away?
fake that answer, sir?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll answer his question, but I want to know what his answer to the question is first.
It was the third question in a line of three that was really focused more on religious stuff than actual employment stuff. So the first 10 questions were, hours of availability and basic stuff like that you would expect to fill out on an employment application. The last three, though, again, were religious and oriented. I just answered pray to all three of them.
Yeah.
That was your answer. You said pray. Is that what I said? Okay.
Easy way out, sir.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with the question because you are. It's a religious-based organization. And granted that the application you're doing is for charity base or whatever it is you're applying to do there with them, which is voluntary, and they want to ask certain questions based on their organizational beliefs. So then you can just say, well, I'm not interested, thank you very much, and then turn a form in and go about your day. But there's nothing in my mind or legally that I know from any Florida statutes that's going to prevent them from simply asking you the question based on your faith if they're a faith-based organization. It can't be
charity work.
It can't be
actual paid.
Well, that's
position.
fine. It can't be, there can't discriminate. So the question is are these issues discriminatory in any way? And I think asking an individual that's applying for a position there, whether it's a non-charity profit, for-profit, whatever the case is, I think that is within the confines. That I don't believe that to be discrimination. Hey, what is your faith as it relates to these issues? It doesn't say that, it talks about your gender or your sexuality or, all of these other things that could be in the realm of discrimination. So I don't think there's an issue with those questions.
I also like what you did by writing pray.
To be discriminatory because
then don't answer the question and don't take the job. If you find it listen, life is not difficult, and lawyers make things more difficult than they need to be. If you don't like the question, don't answer the question and don't take the job.
Also, I wouldn't say it's discriminatory because it's the whole idea of working there. You need to know who you're working for. It's pretty much revealing to you what it's all about. So there's no hidden problems for later.
It's not. I don't believe that. Assuming he's reading it in the way that they questioned it to him, that does not sound or qualify to me as discriminatory. Now, this gentleman might think it's discriminatory. Well, then don't answer the question and don't take the job.
Very interesting. All right, let's go to Alex. Alex, you're on with Ask the Dom. What do you got, Alex?
I appreciate you for taking my call. Thank you, sir.
I'm a wonderful man.
You are, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about, I was divorced 3 years ago, and my ex moved the children 3 counties away, like 69 miles, but it was 50.2 miles as the crow flies. And so now everything's been going fine. I've had the majority custody of the children for the last 3 years. No issues, no problems. I'm being pulled back into court for contempt of court over an issue over education. And I'm looking at it like, I'm reading all this stuff. What's in the best interest of the kids? What's in the best interest of the children? And I wanted to know the technicality of how far, because it says 50 miles as a crow flies. So could a judge say 50.2 miles is too far, 50 point whatever is too far, in addition to the fact that the children have to be in the car 69 miles one direction or 64 miles if they take another way around.
What county are you in?
The divorce happened in Polk County. I still live in Polk County.
All right. Well, first of all, with the great folks in Polk County, let us all pray in that county. All right. So to quote the caller before you, there you go. The original divorce decree, I assume you guys agreed to that distance. Is that correct?
It wasn't even in there.
All right. So then, whereas the crow flies that distance, how did that come about? Did you guys just make it up arbitrarily and stick with it?
She came up with it. We mediated. I signed, everything, and that's what it was. Since then, she has moved.
Well, stop it. Hang on a second. I got to reverse, because I just asked you if you guys had an agreement to it, and you said no. Now you said you went into a mediation, and she brought it up, and then you signed an agreement, so that would make your answer now yes.
No. There was never. It was never an issue in the
that's
agreement.
Not what,
she moved it far away.
I love you to death, but that's not my question to you. My question was, did you agree to it in writing?
No.
Oh, okay. So now, since you didn't agree to it in writing, what is then preventing you from having to abide by it? There's no arbitrary agreement to it.
You could move further away with no problem.
Yeah,
you've never agreed to the 50 miles.
And then that would be an argument that would be, deliberated between you and the court. Well, if there's a state statute, okay, was that part of the agreement? Because the court, if the assignment of the parties, I'm not aware of a state statute that says 50-something miles. So
yeah, a parent cannot take a child and move them more than 50 miles away as the crow flies, according to the state statute.
Well, I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that state statute.
I had to tell you also, if in 2019 I had a document that cited crow's length of flying.
I don't know what I was talking about.
I would be like, I think something needs to be updated.
Well, and I know that's not accurate, because there's a lot of people that live farther than that distance that have kids throughout the state of Florida that are going through divorces. So what he needs is a family law attorney that can help him. Don't go there without a lawyer to that contempt hearing. And again, so if you're in contempt, then you have violated something that was a court order that was in writing.
May I ask a quick question about a separate issue?
Well, I'm trying to solve your first issue.
Yeah, well, the contempt is over school. And the fact is she wants me to put them in school by her, which is 69 miles away, even though I have the children with me. In the original agreement to leave, it says that I should put them in, continue the same education that they were in, which was Florida virtual. I have 4 children. The Florida virtual only allows you to enroll 3 at a time as a single parent. So technically, I could not do that.
Oh, why?
So then what happened is 2 years later, she's getting remarried, and I end up, she says to me, oh, well, now I don't want the kids to go to school out there. I want them by me.
Well, that is an issue for you to bring up before the court, so you guys can have an agreement where you don't have these issues now with school. So originally I thought it was distance and time sharing. Now it apparently is their education. So the problem with you is I don't have the luxury of reading what your agreement was, which apparently is the basis of the court order violation, which is why you have a contempt hearing. So here's my next question. Do you have an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. You got to get with them, because as much as I appreciate the call, trying to give you spot-on advice for a very complex and convoluted issue in Polk County is not going to do you justice this morning in 2 minutes on Mike's show. You need to have a serious sit-down conversation with the lawyer you retained, family law in Polk County, so you guys can figure out your plan of attack. Because the only thing I'm going to do here is muddle the waters, because I don't have all the information.
Okay.
All right.
I was looking for technicality. I appreciate you guys so much for what you do, Mike. I love your show. I won't take up any more of your time. Let you get to other callers. Thank you, sir.
Cool, buddy. Thank you. I wish we could be a more solid help.
I mean, because I'm going to tell him an answer that's potentially going to be wrong based on the legal advice a lawyer he has on, that this case might be years old, and I'm going to solve his problem in 3 minutes.
Now, did I hear the lawyer that he has currently is a crow? Is that right? No.
I have to tell you, I don't know. When I ask people for directions and they go south, and I go south, what do I have, a compass?
Yeah.
So when you tell me to go somewhere where a crow's flying, or if you tell me something's going to be a fortnight long, I'm not paying attention.
Well, fortnight is 2 weeks, and as a crow flies, it's a solid straight line direction from one point to another, not accounting that you got to go around the mountain
all this
or you got to go over the river
jargon.
or anything. You just got to go straight, allegedly.
That's
what super
Unless you're
agent
going
Tony
to grandmother's house and you got to go through the woods.
Tony's whispering in my ear the answers. He'll tell me this. It's okay, Tony.
It's a 50-mile radius.
Reggie, good morning. You're on with Ask Dom. What do you got, Reggie?
Good morning.
Your name is Reggie?
Yeah, it's my nickname, yes.
Oh, all right. Go ahead, Reg.
Okay. My mother-in-law sold an established business to someone with a contract where he would pay the total amount in 1 year's time, and until that happened, each month he'd pay $1,000 a month. Well, none of this, 2 years later, none of this has ever happened. I think he's maybe made one payment of the monthly payment. He's not paid the lump sum, and the gig is up. So she doesn't live in state right now, so my poor husband's trying to handle this. I'm curious what our rights are, because basically what my husband's gone in, and he said it's done, and the guy said, okay, I want out. But the man was trying to move a lot of large equipment that's not his. It's ours from the original shop. But when my husband went to change the lock so he couldn't remove anything, this man had the sheriff there, and basically as owners, we seem to have no rights. What rights do we have in this situation?
Well, it depends on the agreement that you guys signed. I mean, this is an agreement I think you said was 2 years old?
Yes.
All right. So we would have to start there. I would have to read the agreement that you had between the parties, which obviously was a breach of the agreement, which is a breach of contract. The next issue that you brought up is them taking equipment that you might own. That brings in the issue of what's called conversion and replevin. Those are civil actions of where you have property that is being converted or in the possession of another. In order to stop that, you would have to file what's called an injunction or a stay. So there's a variety of different issues that you've brought up in your fact pattern scenario. And then to answer your third question as the inherent rights, that would basically fall back on the first issue, as I got to read the agreement that you folks have. So if you want to send me a copy of the agreement to my website, and then I've got attorneys that do contract law, we can help you out. That's really I have to start, because if I tell you anything other than what I don't know, then you're going to be misguided by what I haven't read in that contract.
Okay.
Makes sense?
I will do that. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck to you. It seems that people on Thursdays really have some questions.
Yeah, they're more laid back on Tuesday.
Let's go to Rick. Rick, you're on with Ask Dom. What do you got, Rick?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Don. How's it going this morning?
Good. What do you got? I'm going to try and help you out with this one. Good.
Okay, so I'm a renter. I have renter's insurance. I have a dog. The dog bit another dog, which created some damage. The other dog had to go get some stitches. Mm-hmm. My insurance policy says it covers dog bites, and it also covers property damaged by a dog. My question is the other person's dog considered property?
Yes. In Florida, pets are considered property. Therefore, your property damaging their property should be covered by your insurance.
Well, and
that's what I was looking for, Mr. Calta.
I am not a lawyer, so let's double check with Dom, but that is what I've learned.
That's 100% correct.
Thank you very much.
I mean, that's perfect, Mike.
I expect my bar pin any day now.
Just like a car hitting a car.
And you'll receive payment.
And you have renter's insurance, which makes me... Son of a bitch. I was going to say, which makes me very proud of you.
Yeah.
Not too many renters go out and get renter's insurance, which is cheap and easy to do.
Tony, you have just witnessed something that rarely happens. That was a perfect call and a perfect answer, and I had nothing to do with it.
And then Galvin will look at him and say, "You've been
lawyered."
Thank you very much.
But Mike, that was spot on.
Thank you. Well, I pay attention to you when you talk.
Thank you.
Let's do one more phone call. I'm going to give you their names only. Okay. I've got Todd, which I'm not particularly fond of. Rob, Adrian, and Alan.
Ladies first. Ladies choice. We'll go with Adrian. Well, that Adrian could be a guy. That could be a guy. Well, we'll take the risk.
All right. Let's go to Adrian. Good morning, Adrian.
Adrian's the guy.
Definitely a guy.
But like the great Adrian Adonis, maybe a little bit flamboyant, did get rear-ended. So let's get to the story. You were driving. What's going on?
He was walking.
April
April of 2018, I was at a red light. Just parked, waiting for the light to change, and I was rear-ended by a woman on her cell phone.
Or were you injured?
I was injured.
Right. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry to hear that you're hurt, sir.
Yeah. We had to pull off a side street. She didn't get off the phone for another half an hour. She continued the phone call. She was on a business phone call. The police came out. She was ticketed, and I ended up having multiple bulging and herniated discs in my back and a sprained neck. I'm still going through physical therapy now. I'm almost out of it. Her insurance company just now tried to settle, but it was something I feel that's very minimal. I do have a lawyer right now, and they gave me a max number that we could potentially get.
Okay.
And it's only from her insurance company, and I didn't know if there's anything that my insurance company could pay or not, because I feel this is going to be a lifetime of therapy and pain, how it's going. It's been close to 2 years now, and it's
under Florida statutes, to get monetary compensation, a personal injury claim, you got a 4-prong issue: you got death, dismemberment, disfigurement, or permanent injury. So you fall in a 4th prong because you've got bulging or herniated discs. That's otherwise known as a soft tissue type injury. So whether or not your insurance is going to pay any money will determine if you purchase uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, otherwise known as UM. So did you purchase UM coverage on your policy?
I did look at that. Well, I'm calling in my.
You got to know. You got to know the answer. I scream about this all the time on my show. So if you have UM, the only way UM will kick in is if you get the full policy of the at-fault party in front of you. So whoever the other insurance company is, their bodily injury coverage is the claim that your lawyer's making under that policy. How large is that policy?
It's 50.
Yeah, it's $50,000. All right. So in order for you to have a UM claim, you have to get the $50,000 first from the folks at the BI. That's the at-fault insurance party. And then you can make an uninsured motorist claim. So now the next question is going to be, and this is again between you and your lawyer, but how much of your medical bills and expenses after PIP is paid? Personal injury protection is usually $10,000 less a deductible. You remove that from the outstanding medical bills and balances. That leaves you with a number. And then the additional number is going to be your compensation for pain and suffering. But I will humbly tell you, if you haven't had any type of injections, surgical procedures, RFAs, any type of injections, then you're probably south of $50,000. Customarily, from my experience in the industry, unless you've had some type of invasive or more than simply conservative care and treatment. Now, if you got $48,000 in medical bills, then that might be a different story, regardless of your treatment is conservative or not, and then you're making a UM claim. So now I'm guessing in conjecture, because I don't know all the specific facts. I don't know if you want to put all that out on the air.
Well, but perhaps you can call the office or discuss it with your lawyer.
Well, he's got a lawyer,
right.
And I don't want them to fire him. I mean, he can keep them.
Yeah.
But obviously, people call him.
That's why I called in too. I've only talking to the paralegal or the legal assistant. I've never actually talked to a lawyer.
Who wants a lawyer like that? I don't. I'm not mad at you, sir. I'm just saying. Yeah, but and I discussed this at the beginning of the show here. You can fire your lawyer. And I'm not suggesting that you have to do that here. Anybody listening to the show, if you have a lawyer and in the entire time of your case you've never spoken to your lawyer, how do you trust that? Like if you have a doctor and the entire time you go to the doctor you only see the nurse practitioner, then you're not really seeing the doctor.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I'm not suggesting to him that he fires this person.
But if you're not happy with anything, that's what you do.
And I always find it interesting when people call. I had my show last night, so I mean I feel like I've been in studio for about 8 hours. But the people will call and they'll say, "Well, I listen to you all the time on Mike's show and your show, and I love you, Dom." And then they'll say, "But I hired somebody else." I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
That's it. And then they call me because they're upset or they don't, they can't talk. I talked to a lady this week who hired another lawyer, colleague of mine. Nice folks, but she says she's never spoken to the lawyer. Mm-hmm. And she called me. I called her back within 15 minutes. I'm not even her attorney. I just returned the phone call. She says, "I've been represented by this other person for several months. I've never talked to that lawyer." I call her back in 15 minutes.
Can I tell you my honest opinion, sir? Thank you for the call. Good luck with your case. My honest opinion is that a lot of the people who do that hear you, but call another attorney, I think that you're, he's on the radio. He's like a superstar lawyer. He must be really expensive. And I don't think people that have never been involved in these situations know that it's not costing you any money. If you have an accident situation where you're trying to sue to get money from somebody, you're not usually paying anything up front. You're splitting shares with your medical bills and with the lawyer. And that is standard for every lawyer. That's how it goes everywhere. If a lawyer is advertising, they go, "We don't collect any money unless you win." Yeah, every lawyer does that.
Well, for personal injury, it's a contingency fee.
Right?
Correct.
And that's mostly what I'm talking about is people who get in personal injury situations. So I think because you're on the radio and because you have your own show, people assume that, well, he must be a really expensive lawyer. It's the same thing as any other percentage from any other lawyer in a personal injury case. And I just feel like it's important to remind people of that every once in a while because I think that that's what gets them nervous.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, the biggest complaint I hear is the communication. A lot of people are upset they don't hear back from their lawyer, namely this nice fella just called.
Yeah.
But, my rule is I'll call you back within 24 hours or I'll email you back, and if not sooner. Sometimes I'll be right at the office. Someone calls in. I'll just pick up the phone. I'll respond from dinner over the week. I was working over vacation.
Yeah.
But that's part of, what I promise on this show and what I've promised on my show. We've been doing this now, 10 and a half years. There's a lot of great lawyers out there, and, I'm not the only one, but I always fall back. I like busting everyone's chops because they say, well, I listened to you and I love you, but I went and hired somebody else. And I said, well, now my feelings are hurt and I need therapy tonight.
If you didn't get through today, you can go to AskDom.com or 813-251-5550, or you can see him Saturday at the Bone Brunch.
Two things to tell you. Two things.
I only want to hear one.
These are two important things. Next week on my show, our great sheriff, Hillsborough County, Chad Chronister, live in studio with the spokesperson, Danny Alvarez. So Sheriff Chad Chronister and Danny Alvarez is live in studio.
I preface that by saying the handsome sheriff.
Well, I don't know. That's also Sheriff Nacco can be the handsome sheriff as well.
I know, but I'm not in Pasco anymore.
Depending on how you look, Grady Judd can be handsome if you like that kind of thing. So it really all depends on your preference. But Chad will be in, our sheriff in Hillsborough County, live in studio next Wednesday evening.
All right.
And then
Spanish, hide your drugs.
Maybe my +1 for the cruise. Cat name him.
Oh, what?
There it is.
Why would you do that?
Wow.
Ruin everybody's cruise like that.
I just wanted to end my segment on a high
worst
note.
Show. Don't bring him on the cruise.
He's not allowed to go.
He's not allowed to go.
No.
So I just wanted to end on a high note.
High note would be like if you tell me neither one of you are going now.
Look at you.
Oh.
What's the matter? We got a great day. This is an important day tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. I just want to hang out and relax. Now I got to shoot cruise movies. We can make Titanic too.
Do not shoot any movies.
No, I'm not.
I think it's going to be wonderful. You're gonna be the star of his movie on that show.
I'm already the star of his movie.
I know, but now you movie number 2.
No, Dom, stop.
Thank you for all your calls today. We will see you, Dom, on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
Thanks,
take
Mike,
a quick break. It's the Mike Calta Show. We'll be back.
It's the Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone. Real Raw Radio is the best. Wait, is that it? There's nothing else written here. It just says the best. The best what? All right. 102.5 The Bone. We're the best. Now, another traffic update.
Hey, good news. Looks like they're clearing out that wreck southbound 75 near Bee Ridge if you're heading south out of Sarasota or north coming up from Clark Road. Had a wreck reported southbound on the Vets north of Hillsborough Avenue. That should be out of the roadway. Another crash clearing up southbound 275 north of Hillsborough Avenue. Westbound State Road 54, a crash before US 41. I still have a bad delay there. That's Waze Traffic. I'm Slater in the Safe Touch Security Traffic Center.
The Bone, WHBT, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete. And now on 97.1 WSUN HD2, Holiday, Tampa, St. Pete.
You know, I've been telling you about Stingray Chevrolet's huge Corvette sales